My today's topic is privacy. That is hopefully for all, but it's not for free. Privacy is something that we have to fight for. From my perspective, it's quite similar to Bitcoin itself. It doesn't matter that much what you do in one moment, but it's a long-term game. Everything counts, and it's okay to make some mistakes, but crucial is a long path. And since it's fight, you are losing energy while you are fighting. And so you need to try to focus. Be sure what you are fighting against, select your opponent, because you are not able to fight against everything. It would just ruin all your resources. So it can be state, it can be your ex-wife, it can be your employee, or whoever. But for the sake of this presentation, I would like to stick to very general cause that is hopefully useful to everyone. And that is just some random guy on the internet. Another view on the same thing is how much energy you are actually willing to invest. You might be exhibitionist, that you want to share everything about you, but I believe that most of you are somewhere in the middle. And this talk will not be about extreme situation where you are trying to be protected against everything, but rather to find few simple steps that can improve your privacy in general, quite general terms. So there are 3 areas that I would like to touch. And general idea that is behind all of these is that internet remembers. So whatever you do, it will remain somewhere. And so at some cases, you should really consider whether you want to share or not. Let's focus on the first one. Your ID might be stolen. So I think that we are currently living in situation when you really don't need to use any kind of centralized exchange or actually exchange at all. You are uploading information about you. There's a lot of leaks, and you never know what happens. There's no law that could protect you. Even though we are having here in Europe GDPR, for example, when you try to delete your records from the exchanges, it's impossible. I tried it a few years ago, and they just reply me, hey, that would be nice. However, there's another paragraph which doesn't allow us. So you are not owner of these data, so just don't share them unless you find it really necessary. And I believe it's not necessary at these days. There are a couple of options. Very simple one is to run a small community. All you need for that is to have at least one friend that you can start communicate with. If you have no friends, you can still run some meetup or attend existing meetup. Create a group on Signal, on Element, or anywhere else, any other communication platform that you trust, and start exchanging peer-to-peer without Revolut or other bank-related platforms. You can do everything via cash if you want to. It might be difficult in the beginning to find peer for you. However, once you build on top of that, it's getting easier and easier. If you find this too complicated or too extrovert, or I don't know, you don't want to meet other people in person, you can communicate to make it briefly, basically. However, today you already probably heard about the announcement of VexLab, and it's another thing that I would like to recommend to you. Currently, it operates everywhere except United States, I guess. This application does everything for you. You just insert your contacts that you are willing to share. They are encrypted, and it helps you to find people that are in your social network. And again, with these people, you can interact and vexel, meaning exchange your Bitcoin and fiat or whatever you need. All those QR codes that I'm putting on the slides are having some additional resources. In this case, it's just link to the website so you can download it. But If you need more information, please visit the booth of Satoshi Labs / Vexel to find out more. Regarding the ID, there's another small hack that I would like to share. A few months ago, I was reading a small article from Slovak about Peter Horvát. It's a quite common name in Slovakia. In Czech, we have Jan Novák, I guess. In English, it might be James Smith. And the idea of this article is that it's not necessary to always share your data truly. So, for example, if you are receiving some post, you can use, for example, those external boxes. You don't need to receive packages right to your place. Quite frequently, you are signing some documents, and it's very frequent that you don't need to use your official name. And so it's simple thing that you are trying to be random guy. It doesn't mean that you are trying to build complicated way another identity. It's just that you are playing with that. You are bringing some noise to make it more complicated to track who you actually are. So here the QR code is linked to the Slovak version of article, so use some translator for that. So that was the first idea about the IDs, that it's better not to share anything. Second one is about bragging. This happens to me few weeks ago, actually. Some guy that I don't know wrote me a message that includes quite a lot of information about you. It's weird that I am sharing it to you right now. It's not that personally. It's quite simple to find it on me. Where do I work? And he offered me to come to our office. Why am I saying that? That this was for me a moment that I should start taking care about the privacy. That it's not granted. I will have to think about that a little bit more for the future, not share everything like I do. So for example, maybe not going to conferences talking about privacy with my real face and with all my contact information. We are all getting better. Another point related to that is you may find yourself as not interesting enough. Nobody knows you, so you feel anonymous enough. However, this can change. So for example, if you share something on Twitter in 2011 that you have some small stack of Bitcoin, nowadays it's a lot of money. And basically whatever amount of Bitcoin you have, it might be a lot of money in the future. So again, just don't brag. Very much designed, sorry for that. If you are having some Bitcoin, don't wear Trezor. Don't tell everyone that you are kind of wealthy, or that you could be wealthy in the future. Don't do public talks like this. And here on this QR code, you can have a look on the list that is written by Jameson Loeb about the physical attacks on Bitcoiners. So he's tracking which Bitcoiners were physically attacked just for the hope that they have some money. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have it, but people are trying. And it might happen that people will be more desperate and will do bad things. So it's good not to brag, generally speaking. And then there's third area that is maybe more complicated, or at least it looks like more complicated. This one is directly related to Bitcoin. Whenever we do some transaction, we are revealing a lot of information about ourselves. Probably most of you know that. This is example of quite simple transaction. One input, and two outputs. So someone is sending money to someone else, and probably there's some change address. Not necessary, but we can estimate that this is the way. This small line is just fee that going to miners. And the question is, what can you find out of that? Because we have no idea what the addresses means, to whom it is related, generally speaking, unless we have some additional data. But even from this very simple transaction, the sender knows to whom he sent, to which specific address. On the other hand, recipient knows the sender, that's obvious. But in some rare cases, when there are more outputs, they can identify even the other people. And once you start putting these transactions together, you can combine that into more information. So you don't see only time of the transaction when it was spent, but you can try to model how much money the user have. Even in the simplest example, you are revealing what is your initial input. So for example, if you are sending 10 bitcoins, you are revealing that's some amount of money that you are holding. And this is something that can harm you later on. So it's good to try to prevent this. You can try to obfuscate it, combine transactions with other people, or there are other solutions. Of course, you can use Lightning, for example. The things that I would like to show you as a proposal, how to approach that, is to use something we call Coinjoin. This is another transaction, but as you can see, there is no one input and 2 or 3 outputs. However, there are hundreds of inputs and hundreds of outputs. There are still a lot of things that can be figured out of that. All those machine learning models can improve in the future, and then they will really reveal more than today. However, it's a huge improvement from the privacy perspective. And in some cases, it's even impossible to calculate a connection, because everything looks exactly the same. And why am I saying that? It's because I'm working for Trezor, and we have launched, like a month ago, integration for this Coinjoin. So you can now do that simple way. You can do that without losing your custody. So you don't need to use any kind of hot wallet. You can keep it on your hardware device and still being part of this Coinjoin feature. Currently, it works only for Model T, the newer one. However, I believe that in a few months, we will release it for T1 as well. We just need to test it more because it's kind of complicated from the technical perspective, but hopefully not for the user. This is how the UI looks like. Hopefully, you will know what to do with that. But what I would like to highlight is that you don't need to do basically anything. You can just use this Coinjoin account instead of regular account. Even if you are not doing any transactions, the Coinjoin account itself will bring you more privacy. And there is simple comparison of two accounts. So it's basically, in both scenarios, you are using Trezor, but in one, it is regular account, and the second one is Coinjoin account. So on the regular account, everything is faster. However, you are revealing some of the information. It's not that big deal. However, you can get for free better solution. The only thing that you pay that it will take longer to download this data. However, with Coinjoin account, you are having Tor connection by default. You cannot do it without Tor. And you are getting privacy in terms of full node. Even though you are not having full node, you are basically downloading all the data that could include some of your transaction. So that was 3 examples that I believe could help you with improving your privacy. One is to use peer-to-peer solutions, building out communities, or use the Vex Lab. Second one is to control yourself with the sharing, trying to prevent from sharing the data that is not necessary to share. And third one is to use Coinjoin account. Thank you for your attention. I believe we have time for a few questions if you will be interested. So feel free to ask.
I'd like to know if the Coinjoin works also on Trezor Model 1.
Sorry, if the Coinjoin works on Trezor Model 1? Yes. It's not public yet. However, it's prepared, so we will launch it probably in a few months.
Can you give any examples of what can go wrong if you leave the data on a centralized exchange or something like that?
Yeah, thanks. What could go possibly wrong? So the main thing is that you are not able to delete this information. So whatever kind of obfuscation you do later on time chain using the Bitcoin, you are not able to delete this record from the exchanges. And when the law changes, which can happen anytime, we have basically no control on that. Something that was completely legal at the time of doing that transaction can become illegal. So, and it has a lot of consequences. Basically anything we can imagine can happen.
Hey there, thanks for the presentation. Just wondering, I have a Trezor and I have already some coins there. So I can still using Coinjoin to, let's say, wash up the existing coins, or, I mean, what I need to do, let's say?
Yes, so if you are already using Trezor, the only thing you need to do is to add another account. Currently it is kind of hidden. We will make it more visible later on once we get the confidence. But currently you just add another account and transfer the funds. We want to make it, at least at this first version, that you exactly know what you are doing and that you are migrating your funds to Coinjoin account.
Just wondering, what's needed to create an account? Do you ask for an email address or phone number? Or
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
what do you need to create an account?
You just, okay. You just hit this button.
Okay. What about the main account, let's say? Do you need any information about?
Here you have a list of accounts. So here you have, let's say, the regular default accounts, and here on the top will appear the Coinjoin account.
Okay, so just, let's say, backup of the wallet, 24 or 12 words.
You are still using the very same seed. You don't need to do anything in these terms. Of course, you can generate another one, but it's not required.